All right, the standard that we're working on today is to look at what is the same and what is different between two texts on the same topic. So we're looking at nonfiction or informational text. So we look at text features like illustrations, or we look at descriptions or procedures and see how they are the same and different. So here we're looking at polar bears and beluga whales. I am so curious about how they're alike and how they're different. So I'm going to start reading and you can follow along with me. Polar bears live in the cold Arctic land. Polar bears have a thick layer of fur and fat. Polar bears eat mostly seals and fish. Polar bears are one of the largest land mammals. A polar bear's skin looks white, but underneath their skin is black. Most polar bears roam alone. Roam means to move. Polar bears are slow swimmers. Polar bears are about 110 feet, or excuse me, not 100, 10 feet tall. I learned a lot about polar bears from that. So the next part we're going to read is about beluga whales. Beluga whales live in the cold Arctic waters. That reminds me of where the polar bear lives. So if you look at this, the beluga whales live in the cold Arctic waters, and the polar bears live on the cold Arctic land, but they both like the cold weather, obviously, or their habitats are cold. Beluga whales live in groups called pods. Belugas eat fish. Now, polar bears eat fish, and beluga whales eat fish. Belugas have a thick layer of fat. Ooh, a polar bear. They have a thick layer of fat. They have fur too, but they have fat as well. And let's highlight that here. Beluga mammals are slow swimmers. So there can be mammals, beluga whales can be mammals, and polar bears are mammals. They're slow swimmers. Belugas are about 14 feet tall. Not exactly the same, but almost. Belugas are known for their rounded heads and large foreheads. Belugas have white skin. Okay, so let's look at some of the differences. So, I remember here. Oh, I missed a similarity. They're slow swimmers too. Polar bear and beluga whales are slow swimmers. But one thing that is different is it says most polar bears roam alone, meaning they move around alone, whereas beluga whales live in groups called pods. They're different sizes, right? They're known. Large forehead. Belugas have white skin. So a beluga has white skin, where the polar bear, the skin is black, right? So those are some similarities and differences. The yellow are what is the same, and the green is what is different. All right, let's look at these questions. How are polar bears and belugas alike? Well, it helped that I already highlighted, and if you had a paper and a pencil, you could underline what is the same and what is different, so it kind of stands out when you're answering the questions. They both live on land. Well, that's not true, because they said that they live in the water, the belugas. So I can cross this out. Sorry about that. It's called slashing the trash. I know that's not true. They are both fast swimmers. Well, I remember Here it says they're slow swimmers. That was something they had in common, that they were both slow swimmers. So let's hope this one is true. Let's look at it. They both have a thick layer of fat. I remember that right here. Thick layer of fat for the polar bear. And here with the beluga, belugas have a thick layer of fat. So that is something that they share in common. How are polar bears and belugas different? Okay, polar bears have a thick layer of fat. So let's look here. Now, if we just said that that's the same, we know that can't be true because we said it's the same. It can't be something that's different also. Polar bears have white skin. If I go back and look, because it can be confusing, they said the polar bear skin is black, but they said the belugas have white skin. Here it says polar bears have white skin, so that's not true. And then polar bears roam alone. I see right here, polar bears roam alone, and I highlighted that in green, so that means that it was something that was different. So then I can feel confident that polar bears roam alone, because then if I go back and double check myself, beluga whales live in groups called pods. So they live in a group. They don't go around alone. Pick two, important that we notice this, 2 points that are found under polar bears, but not under beluga whales. So they roam the land alone. We just said that that's true. So that's one. Live in groups called pods. Well, these both can't be true, so that's not going to be one. One of the largest land mammals. Let's go look back here. Polar bears are one of the largest land mammals. Right now I'm going to highlight it because it looks like that is true. And then they eat a diet of fish. So polar bears eat mostly seals and fish. So not just really fish, it should be seals too. So here are answers to our questions. Remember, in yellow we put what it was the same, and in green we did what was different.